G'day there, ladies and gents of the internet. I am the Braveheart Aussie and welcome to a journey in world building. Today we're going to be looking at a brand new faction within the Dark Diaspora. And this is a particularly interesting faction that originates on the planet of Ozovin, referred to as the Swell Riders. Now, as we saw with Fall's Edge and the famous Acro Loop Astrojet race, whenever there is danger or potential death within the Diaspora, which is everywhere, there will be those who are drawn to the exhilaration and to the sport associated with survival. Nowhere is this more evident in the Diaspora than on the water world of Ozovin. With the annual tidally induced mega waves crisscrossing the planet, there are those who in the society have looked to the awesome destructive power of this natural phenomenon and thought to myself, yeah, I bet I could ride that. The story of the first Swell Rider goes back 200 years to Jedediah O'Connell. This young man is attributed with starting the formal sport of swell riding when he intentionally, quote-unquote, fell overboard from his floaton as it was seeking to maneuver its way away from the path of a major swell wave. Holding on to only a piece of waterproof composite board, Jedediah rode the swell wave and became the first recorded person to do so intentionally and survive. And from that point on, the sport of swell riding was born. Today, swell riding is a semi-sanctioned annual competition. Events take place across the entire world, particularly in those areas where swell waves are most prominent and predictable. However, the single most reputable competition, treated as something of a global championship, is located approximately 300 miles west of the capital of Posidor, where the underwater continental shelf drops away and swell waves are routinely generated because of the underwater topography. This area, known as the Swell Canyon, hosts a major event over the week of the swell, with upwards of 2,000 competitors and sometimes in excess of 40,000 spectators. These competitors seek to ride the swell waves, which can be as high as 200 feet. While motorized AG water skimmers are regularly used to ferry out the riders into the path of the swell, all actual riders themselves are required to use non-propulsive craft. This can vary in size from single surfboard type structures, but in a more circular or rounded shape, referred to as classic riding, to more small non-motorized keel and sail craft, referred to as modern riding. There are different classes as well as major events and sub-events hosted through the full week of competition. In each case, the objective is the same: to drop into the ocean and successfully ride the wave. Points are based on duration of the ride, the height of the wave, and how high on the wave the rider was, and being able to successfully complete the ride. The latter tends to be the most common downfall for swell riders, with riders consistently crashing out. Depending on the circumstances, such crash outs can be deadly, with swell wave undercurrents regularly pulling down divers several hundred feet under the water, making drowning a real and ever-present possibility, even for those with micro-breathers. For others, the sheer height of the wave means that if they crash out at the peak of their height on the surface, they can often fall a couple of hundred feet before hitting the water's surface, causing fractured bones and internal organ damage. Death is common, with at least 50 wave riders each year dying or presumed lost or drowned during the competition, and upwards of 500 globally. However, this is significantly lower than what it used to be, where upwards of 1 in 5 riders would be lost each year. As with other major death-defying sports in the Dark Diaspora, entertainment reels are often recorded and distributed to other planets within the quadrant or the Diaspora as a whole, particularly those in the Fringe World Alliance. There is an active gambling market that takes place over the course of the week's competition, and odds are routinely adjusted across the week as different riders show out their skills in terms of surviving and successfully completing their rides. The main championship has birthed several major celebrities who have successfully completed their rides or defended their championship over several years, with their celebrity status parlaying into major commercial ventures across the Alliance, or in the case of about a dozen, membership of Congress. The event has also resulted in Copycats springing up on other aquatic-based worlds around the Diaspora, with the most notable being that of the sea skimmer tribes in the kingdom of Samiyaji, although it is recognised that the waves there are not as significant and it takes on more of a traditional surfing competition, very similar to the Melanesian and Polynesian island cultures in the Southern Pacific regions of Lost Earth. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where we're going to leave this faction. It's obviously partly a faction and partly like a global event that takes place, like a sporting event, but I think it adds further depth to the planet of Ozovin as we close out this setting. I'll be shortly posting a new poll for our brand new setting on the channel, and I'm hoping that with my calendar clearing up a little bit with my work over the course of the next 4 weeks, we'll be able to jump into another world building creative TTRPG stream here on the channel in the coming weeks. But that is it for today. Thank you so much. Hope you'll have a wonderful day, and may the journey continue. Hey!